Shankar didn't have money. It's like the floor just... The whole world around me held me up. The last conversation I had with Shankar before we left home on that day was... He said that when we come back, I want you to do Mother Courage.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, we'll do it. So when after the accident, our friend Suri, who is now the artistic director of Rangashankara, he started adapting the play.
Okay.
And by the time I started walking, we had the play ready. So we did the play as a tribute to Shankar on his first death anniversary. People do shraddhas, they spend lots of money. But for us, the whole theatre family had lost its fulcrum. For us, it was very important to go through this play that he wanted to do. And I think we all healed in the process of doing that play.
I remember seeing Nagamandala being performed at Chitrakala Parishad.
This was Hulagura Huliaba, Mother Courage, Brecht's Mother Courage. She played my daughter, I played Mother, and we were about 40 of us. So we did 3 plays that Shankar wanted to do in his lifetime. We did one, another theatre, when I say we, I mean the larger theatre community of Karnataka. Bengaluralliro Moor Tanda, Nagaraj Murthy aur Tanda Rajapete Martu, that was Royal Hunt of the Sun. And Simha, C.R. Simha, he Nataranga Tanda, ಅವರು ತಲೆದಂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. That was, in fact, ಆ ತಲೆದಂಡ ಮೊದಲನೇ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಈ ರೂಮಲ್ಲೇ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಆವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಂಗ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಗಣಿ ಸಾರಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಕಾರ್ನಾಡ್ ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಈ ರೂಮ್ ಇನಾಗ್ಯುರೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ತಲೆದಂಡ and Mother Courage. So we were almost 200 theatre artists of Bangalore who got together and paid our tribute to Shankar on his first anniversary. So it's really theatre that has stood by us in our weakest moments, in our best moments. And I say I don't know how to do anything else. This is all I know how to do.
That's fascinating to hear.
It is what has given us strength. What has given me strength in my darkest moments. It has been very, very dark. You know, it's not easy to be broke, to not have money and not know where you're going, what is the direction you're going in. But to know that I've always lived with the confidence that I can just pick up my daughter, go back to Bombay and start doing commercial theatre. I can earn my livelihood without compromising my dignity or the truth. I have lived with that confidence. I'm sure even you have always known that you can just go back to Bombay and you can...
So Bombay is again the place which gives you that hope.
Which gives you work, which will give you work. Now you have
also
television.
Because we have the languages. We have that confidence because there is Gujarati theatre which is alive and kicking. There's Marathi theatre which is alive and kicking. There's Hindi theatre. All 3 languages we're comfortable with. We speak, we read and write these languages. So,
how did you end up being the heroine of Shankar Nag's commercial films? At least a couple of them. Because those seem to have immortalized you in the Kannada context. At least the songs, you know, I think they're on everybody's lips even to this day. Because how did that happen?
Like I said, his first directorial venture and my first acting venture coincided. That was for Tang. And after that, we acted in Vandanondu Kaladalli. Girish was looking for a girl to play the lead in Vandanondu. And at that point of time, I think Shankar suggested my name, that's a possibility. And I met Girish at Bombay Labs. then like she was saying, yeah, we found our ways of it. So I bluffed. I think I bunked college that day and went to Bombay Labs and met Girish. He was recording the song with Kavita Krishnamurthy that day. And Suresh Wadkar was also there at Bombay Labs, but she was recording. Then he was directing Geeta. And I think the easiest thing to do was cast me rather than looking around. And also because maybe I had been exposed to Marathi theatre and this had been done as a play in Marathi and I had seen it. Maybe that was an influencing factor. I'm not sure. We've done it in Hindi also by then, yes. Yeah, by then I had done Aakhri Sawal. And then after that, of course, eventually Malgudi happened. I was assisting him. Aru was doing the costumes and she wrote the dialogue for Malgudi. And I was the first assistant on the sets. And and then I went on to become the dubbing director for the series. So it was a journey. I think we were together, we were learning, growing together.
He's the best assistant director you can find. So Shankar had the best assistant director on Malgudi.
Right. And a very successful.
If the Nagra conked out, he didn't have to worry because his assistant was taking down every who and in her notes. And continuity, we had no Polaroids. We had no live feed and TV on sets. How were you maintaining continuity? You had an assistant like her who was drawing sketches and writing down continuity.
But of course, there was the rest of the team. There was Somu, there was Ramesh Bhatt, there was Kashi. We were a huge team. And Malgudi had a crew of 60.
Right.
You know?
I don't think Shankar would be able to do Malgudi today.
Why do you say so?
Because that is a magical time. And I believe timing is everything. Timing is everything. Here today it's you and me and her sitting and talking and there are all this team, this magic coming together today. So I felt Malgudi also came at a time when you still didn't have 300 channels vying with one another. You didn't have the assault of so many images and it was Narayan.
And we were young.
And we were young and you just had to pick up the phone and say, I'm doing R.K. Narayan stories, will you act? People didn't ask you, what will you pay me, how many episodes, how many days. They just came, stayed in this small godforsaken town called Agumbe, slept in people's jugli mel hog malkoladu. Yav hotel al usko tirata, yar
there was no hotel.
There was no, nothing in the vicinity. Yes.
Nobody asked us. People just came unconditionally and it was the excitement of television and Narayan and of course Shankar Nag. The magic of Shankar asking them to do a role. So everybody who worked on Malgudi on the screen or behind it came in a magical moment of commitment to the medium, to the art, to just being together.
And that seems to have vanished a wee bit now.
I don't think it's easy to bring that. But Pinti tells me that she just worked in this movie called Padmavati.
We have to be correct. No, now the Karni Sena has withdrawn everything, so it's fine. I think we can...
Forgiven. No,
can we not talk about that?
Okay.
No, but you say that everybody working on the sets was working with a passion.
Yes.
And driven. I'm only talking about that.
Yeah.
She's afraid of talking about that now.
No, we instill such fear. Is that right? Yeah.
God.
No,
anyway.
we don't have to go into that.
Yeah.
That's okay. Now, coming back
so
to
I just believe that there is a magic of a moment. Yeah.
And that is past and now
it would be very difficult to
do
get that kind of intensity.
Yeah. And like I think we were all young and that magic of that moment that she talks of, we were enthusiastic, we were energetic. He had a production person who never said no to anything. He wanted an elephant, he wanted a horse, he wanted a donkey, he wanted a road roller, he wanted a train. He got it.
Everything would be there.
Yeah.
Lucky actually.
You know,
Yeah, right,
and
yeah.
all of us, I mean, we just didn't look back. We were, and we didn't think we were making something great,
Right.
honestly, but we were just giving it our best.
Right.
We didn't know it was going to become a classic. We didn't know that then, but we were just having great fun doing this together. Yeah.
I mean, so Ranga Shankara has been a great tribute to him in the sense it's flourished. You said it's 14 years. So why don't you think of doing another Ranga Shankara in the north of Bangalore? Because Bangalore has become big, and Shankar Nag is not just a South Bangalore phenomena. People in North Bangalore also want it. The distances are very prohibitive for people to travel. Do you believe in that kind of a franchisee model?
The original plan that we submitted to S.N. Krishna when he was the Chief Minister was to have 4 such theatres in Bangalore,
really? Okay.
North, South, East, West.
Yeah.
If this was the module for South, we did envisage it. But it's not easy to run these babies. It's not easy. This is not a commercial module.
It cannot be a franchisee kind of a thing because it would lose its...
I don't know. When I gave that proposal, I imagined it would be one brain that would do the programming.
Okay.
And you have 4 such theatres. This one has the focus on theatre. You have another for music, another with dance, another with fusion. But theatre travels all around. It's been quite tiring just doing one. Doing one. It's very easy to say, why don't you do one more in North Bangalore? But money has not been so easy to come by.
But it's such a big brand, even despite being such a fantastic, credible brand. You think money is still a problem?
I think it should not be so difficult now, in today's times. In fact, what I am trying to moot is, what I have learned in these 14 years is that it's not enough to have a theatre only in Bangalore. We need them across the country. And it's only then that plays will travel around. Like what we are talking about, plays travelling in Bangalore. But I really feel that theatres like Ranga Shankara need to go to Bhubaneswar, to Lucknow, to smaller towns. Why should only Delhi, Bombay and Chennai and Bangalore have a theatre like this? Other towns. And if you want to create sustainable livelihoods in the performance arts and especially in contemporary theatre, we need spaces like Ranga Shankara. Only then, we need more spaces. Only then can we have lighting technicians, costume designers, set designers, directors, sound designers, actors who can run the fire in their homes by doing theatre. Right now we don't have that. When Pinty and me said that if ever we have to earn livelihoods from theatre, we'll go back to Bombay. Because we know that Gujarati and Marathi theatre do have the possibility of giving us that basic money. What I'm talking about now is that does not matter. There are so many youngsters in the country doing good work. If we just create a network of theatres, they will take cutting-edge theatre to smaller towns. I have mooted this at a philanthropy platform where a lot of the big money bags of India did come and attend, and I presented this paper saying that it costs only 15 crores to build a theatre. People are building houses for 100, 200 crores. They're building bathrooms for 15 crores. You know? So why can't we build community centers like this? This can be where the education program goes out. Everything can go out from here. A whole lot of dissemination of information can go out from here. Workshops, teachers training programs. Look at art as an integral part of education.
Correct. But governments spend so much of money, all the governments, but I think...
I don't think this is...
this should be handled by the government. It's a kiss of death. It's a kiss of death if governments come in, I think, yes.
I think this is the kind of program that the industry can support. It can support. It is not big money. The amount of money we need to run Ranga Shankara for 1 year is lesser than a full page ad.
Really?
One ad
in the Times of India? Oh, that's a fantastic way of pitching for.
One ad
pitching
in
for
Times
more
of
money.
India.
That's fantastic.
We pay our salaries, maintenance, and rent out the theatre for 2,500 rupees a day. We are the cheapest in the country. With 50 tons of air conditioning and 20 lights for 2,500. Why? Because we have 3 companies that give us 10 lakhs each for the whole year.
Right. It's amazing.
This is the financials.
Right.
And a small town can afford it.
Absolutely. Yes.
An industry that runs in Bhilai. Shouldn't it have a theatre?
Absolutely
Kharagpur
should.
that has an IIT.
Have this, right. No, it's a fascinating idea. So can we shift gears and go back to Mumbai again? And there's some bad news that's come from Mumbai. Sridevi passed away recently. We've been speaking about acting, actresses. Any memories of Sridevi and about this death itself? Is there a comment that you want to make now?
I haven't I think I'm not on Facebook and she is not. We are not on Twitter. We are not on any
We haven't worked with her.
You haven't worked with her?
Yeah.
Never
But
been
I've admired
familiar
her in Mundrampire. I've seen Mundrampire.
Right.
I've seen Mr. India.
Right.
And
She's a
Sadma.
great timing.
Yeah.
Good actress. Did not get her due probably.
But the North never recognized the acting talent. I think it was the South that nurtured her acting and the North her glamour. Is that right? Is that a fair assessment?
Well, all I know is the North also loved her.
Okay.
You know, and I think that's what matters at the end of the day.
I don't know much. I don't read gossip magazines. I don't watch movies. So I'm not a person who can have
just as a human being, when she passed away so young. And
just lots of people die young. So I think it's great for her that she got to do English, and that was after a long gap, and
15
now
years.
that she has passed away, at least people saw her potential.
She got back into
they saw her potential.
But this, because you've been splendid actors yourself, does aging and the depletion of the body, there's so much of talk that happened around that. None of it may have been true or whatever, but does that cause a pressure in a actor like you, both of you? Because you've played character roles, both of you, so you can bring in a new perspective. What does that do to a woman, especially, who's been there at the peak of her whatever, and then suddenly starts worrying about her body depleting?
I think lots of women are worried about their body. They live in their bodies, They live in, do I look good? Does this side of mine look better than the other side? And I don't think we've really worried about done something to look good. Gone out of our way to do things. We also put kajal in our eyes. We know that it looks nice. We look better when we put kajal. Why do we wear earrings? Why am I wearing what I'm wearing? I'm wearing it because I think it looks nice on me. I like it. Yeah, but not making compromises and trying to look like someone else. Yeah. I think that's it.
That's the problem, yeah.
One is not trying to look like somebody else.
Or trying to fit yourself into a certain kind of stereotype that has been created in the market.
I think that's the makeup industry that is selling these rubber stamps. One heroine looks like the other. So everyone's going and getting a nose job done. Everyone's getting their Botox done so that there are no lines.
Right.
But I don't think either of us were ever into it.
Right.
And I think it's about embracing one's age.
Very gracefully.
Yeah, you've grayed, you're balding, it's okay, And you do what you have to do for a character. Yes, if I have to dye my hair, dye it for a character. But in real life, this is who I am. And for that, I admire Rajnikant.
Right.
Absolutely. He's comfortable in his skin.
Right.
And he will dress up and become this, and he's someone
that's
else
complete
altogether.
suspension of disbelief.
Yes.
Yes, right.
So, it's about respecting who you are becoming as you go through life and age, and that's part of the whole deal. Right?
So you both keep visiting Bollywood. So you've, as we discussed, you were in Padmavati, and you have done roles in Bollywood and Pa, and so I mean I was very curious about this question. It just occurred to me that both of you had faced the biggest star of Bollywood, Amitabh Bachchan, had played opposite to Amitabh Bachchan. You in Teen, and you were the grandmother in Pa. How is it to play against this man? And I mean, what is the experience? I mean, I think a lot of people would be curious to know, right? You were a paraplegic sitting on a wheelchair, and then you were nursing him. What kind of an experience is it? Because
for me, I think it was really a gift that landed, because both of us don't have secretaries.
Right.
And we are not trying to send our photo to some agent and saying, "Humko role dilwao." So I would say give all credit to Palki for having found me and decided to cast me. And then to be in this film with Bachchan was great, because it's come your way and it's a good role. I took the role because I knew that there are only 4 characters in this film and I'm one of them.
One of them, right.
They can't edit this out. And also it was about this whole syndrome, and just watch this man. He knew everybody's dialogues when he came on the sets.
Oh really?
Yes. He knew your lines also. And he was sitting in his makeup for 4 hours to just get that whole thing
done
in place. But not a single day was he late. And no tantrums at all. No tantrums. Vidya Balan and we were feeling hot. But this man was cool inside that 1.5 kgs of latex.
Right.
And when Vidya asked him, she said, "Aapko garmi nahi ho rahi?" He said, "Andar se maine decide kar liya hai ki main cool hu."
Right.
It speaks volumes. No nakharas, no tantrums.
Very, very professional.
Professionally. I walked in on the sets on the first day. The man 6.5 feet tall stands up and says, "Namaskar."
Namaskar.
And
Every
that-
day.
Right.
Day. Humility like that.
Yeah, and that I have to say happened with me on Teen also.
Right.
I would enter the room, the man doesn't have to get up, for heaven's sake. But he would, and he would say, "Please, namaste," and ask me to sit, and wouldn't sit until I had sat. And once I did something, oh God, I wanted the earth to swallow me. There was a tall chair, and I went in, plastic chairs, one on top of the other, piled one on top of the other, and I went and sat in it, not realizing that that was for him. And I realized only after there was this kuskus going around the room, and then one assistant came and said, "You're sitting in Sir's chair." And I said, "Why didn't you tell me before that it was his chair?" I've never felt so ungainly in all my life. I got off the chair, but he came, he saw me sitting in it, I was sketching, and he just went off. He didn't say a word, and that's him. Made me feel very much at ease.
You don't become such a big phenomenon without these characteristics,
Right.
of basic discipline, humility, respect.
Lots to learn
I
from
noticed
him.
he would just go off to his van, and what was he doing? He was doing some, forming some music,
He was composing?
composing music.
Is there any other actor against whom you would like to be cast, or with whom you would like to act, or be directed by a good director across the globe? Because both of you are into character roles all the time.
I take life as it comes.
There's no
मैं कहीं
particular...
कुछ कम ही मांग लूं जिंदगी से. So I'm okay with what comes my way. And yeah.
So you've never sought it?
No,
Out and then-
I'm very happy with what there is. I want to be able to
But
do
it's-
my
it's
natural
very,
farming
very
and
beautiful. One
arts
has
and
to
crafts.
Watch this phenomenon. After having done Pa, it's 8 years since I've done Pa. Not a single Hindi film has been offered.
Okay,
Not yet.
right.
So there is this, Bollywood has its own
Ways of...
ways of functioning, and I don't know whether one doesn't fit into the frame of the Bollywood grandmother. Or I don't want to play the grandmother who is sitting at home and saying, "Bete ghar aa jao, maine parathe banaye tumhare liye, mujhe pote ka muh dekhna hai." That stereotype grandmother. But it's very, very strange that people have not come.
No, but how did The Man Who Knew Infinity happen? That was a bigger, that was a lovely thing to have happened.
Just like that.
Just like that. Again, it's amazing
It's
that you
all
don't
just
function
like that.
without secretaries and, and still these things come looking for you.
I mean, that's the fun of life, no? That there is serendipity.
Right.
I think, you know, because there's that much you can calculate and there's that much you can plan.
Right.
But like John Lennon's song, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
Other plans, right.
You know?
Yeah.
So what's the point, really?
I just want to ask a slightly more ideological question now, because the entire Hollywood is speaking about Me Too and there's been so much of halla gulla around that. Have you ever had a chance to think about these things being thrown up now?
How do you react to it as a man? I'm asking this for the first time.
I'm aghast, obviously, because something like that, you know, I mean, in the kind of profession that I am, or the kind of upbringing that I have had, it's a little difficult to fathom that something like this can happen. Continuously and somebody, and across the industry and all of that. So the question that I had to both of you is, when the world, when all women, there is a kind of synchronized response to this, one feels so. Is there a pressure to react similarly to this, something like this, something obnoxious as this?
I think there has been a kind of a secret cult almost, or kind of, I do not a cult, but what do you call it? A pact, a secret pact, globally across the female gender, of silence.
Right.
The silence has been broken.
Right. And you see that as a very positive.
I think that is a very positive thing. That the silence has been broken. I had even my mother-in-law telling me that, yes, I have had someone trying to rope me. She was young, she had lost her mother when she was a baby. She was brought up with different people. So every woman can tell you when and who tried to touch her up. Whether it is on the road or in the family or at work.
Right. So it's patriarchy at work everywhere.
The respect is broken at very different levels.
And it happens very young.
Many times over. Many times over. And I think that silence has been broken.
And that's very significant.
I think it is very positive. The ripples will go across. The men will take note. We will bring up our male children differently, hopefully. Yes. Just talking about it will change. I think this is a revolution.
But we also live in a world where we have the most powerful person who speaks that language, Donald Trump. So, I mean,
I'm not so sure about this most powerful person.
At least he controls the most powerful economy in the world.
Well, he controls the buttons on the nuclear weapons somewhere. And Russia is now threatening to have a better one.
Better. It's always threatened.
Yes.
Right.
They're saying they have the better one. I don't really give so many marks to the Americans for having voted such a fantastic voice.
Right, yeah.
I think it's about a voice.
Voice, yeah.
And it's great that the women have broken the silence.
And you needed a Trump to break that silence, and you needed a Harvey Weinstein in the time of Trump to be there. Trump, yes.
Fair enough. It could happen in anyone's time.
Right.
It has happened now. That's great.
Because that was being discussed in America, and this happens, and then it becomes bigger and all of it.
No,
Yeah.
I think that its time had come.
Right.
Its time has come. There's that much you can bottle up something.
Right.
Whether it is at an individual level, at the micro level, or at the macro level.
Right.
At a societal level, it will come out. Right? If there is something that's happening at the individual level, it's going to show up. The signs of it are going to show up. And how long are you going to cover it? How long are you going to shove it under the carpet?
Right.
Right? So yes, part of our conditioning, like she was saying, there is a global pact, you know, of silence between women and also among men. Somewhere there has been this quiet dance that has happened, and the institutions like marriage have supported that, have fostered that, you know, and nurtured that
that's
at
precisely
some
where
level.
I wanted to come to again. Our institutions support that kind of a silence.
Yes, and because these institutions can be so normative in nature, the problem is that living up to it is bound to become difficult at some point of time or the other, because your very integrity comes into question at an individual level and a societal level.
Right.
You see? So when society has an issue with integrity,
Right.
it will show up in myriad ways. And then, so that's why I say its time has come. So it is a matter of coincidence that you have Trump's voice there. But
Right.
it would have happened.
Right. So he's triggered something positive.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
I think in a patriarchal society, it also relates to women being empowered. It is empowered women who have spoken out,
Right.
and now it will trickle down.
Do you feel very sorry when you see someone like Melania Trump? Although she has also been swapping at his hand. And
Honestly, I stopped giving it priority in my mind space because I have much more to do, and I firmly believe that I will have to be the change in my time, in my life, even if it is at a very insignificant level, even if it does not seemingly matter. But if I can do that in my life, then there is hope.
right.
You know,
Right.
because somewhere it will have at least one ripple, if not many,
Many. Right.
and that much is enough to start something.
Because the two sisters are talking, you know, there's a question that I think is a very intelligent question. Please feel free to snub me in case it isn't. Is there a play or a movie or a narrative poem which you identify with, where the protagonists are two sisters?
Ouch.
Thought of it.
Huh?
No, I
Never
haven't
thought
thought
of
of it.
Right?
No, never thought of it. Oh my God.
No, because you know, because a lot of women, when they speak about themselves, have this correlation with some movie or for example, I hear a lot of women, even at the film festival that was happening recently, I heard somebody say that, oh, I'm like Nora in Ibsen's Doll's House. Then somebody identifies themselves with Charulata, you know, in Satyajit Ray's character. So is there something like that in art where two sisters are involved? And
I think the one woman I'm completely smitten by is my mother, and that's both of us. I think if we do something, we might do something about that.
Right.
Because
So there's nothing that already exists which you identify yourselves with, but then you have to create one.
Yeah. Do you agree? I mean, this is the first time I'm even speaking about it. But
I think a lot of inspiration there is, you know, that we draw from my mother, our grandmother and grand aunts who were part of our life, and also an aunt who's still alive, who's a great inspiration to us. So I think, that
because you know French, and there is this very famous line of Flaubert where about Madame Bovary.
Yeah.
So when he was on his deathbed, he was asked, who's Madame Bovary? So he said, Madame Bovary, c'est moi. So it's like that, you know, I mean, you identify with a character, and you're such great actors yourself. So, has there, I mean, I just wanted to know if there is some movie
really
which
nothing.
you watch repeatedly and say, this probably is me.
I think it's a problem of many. I don't think we see ourselves as any one thing. You know? Maybe that's what it is. At least that is what it is for me. That I might, when I watch a movie and I'm very inspired by it and I'm bowled over by it, I might identify for the time being. But in the long run, if you ask me like this, I can't name a single one, because there's probably just so many that one has been influenced by.
Right. I have two last questions. I won't take much of your time. One is directed to you, Padmavati ji, which is you do Kathak. You're learning Kathak.
I don't know where you got that detail from, because it was a heavily guarded secret.
I mean, so you should admit that I'm a good journalist, so I do my research well. So Kathak and poetry and children's theatre, all of this, you're constantly learning something, right? Is constantly learning something a kind of emotional therapy for you?
Yes, and it's also part of making life interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it can be such a bore. I mean, you get familiar with a subject, and then you're delving into it deeper and deeper and deeper. Yes, that theatre does that for me. Film does that for me. So does sketching and painting. But I think you need that one thing that you don't also share with the rest of the world. I think that's just for you. And I think for me, there is music and there's painting and there's poetry and
you
theatre.
said you were sketching.
Yeah, I do.
Sitting on that chair meant for Amitabh.
Yeah.
Sketching is another thing.
Is another thing. But though my sketches, I have used them, and in not only in my books, but also for children's textbooks and stuff like that. So all that is out there. But when it comes to Kathak, that's just for me. Yeah.
There's another childhood heartthrob of mine, Deepthi Naval, who also does a lot of painting.
Yes.
So she puts up a post on Facebook, and I blindly press like.
This is a real fan.
I'm an equally big fan of hers, and I sort of suppressed it for 2 decades to tell her, and my wife goaded me to tell her. Said, you should tell her, she'll feel happy about it.
Thank you so much.
In appreciating people, and so it's taken a long time to tell her.
My father was my biggest fan.
Okay.
He used to buy a ticket and sit in the first row and watch. I did my first play, commercial Marathi play, had 15 minutes of me, and then I came only in the last act.
Right.
So he would buy a ticket, see the first 15 minutes, go to office, come back and sit in the third act, sit in the first row and cry. Whenever I cried, he would cry.
Right. Oh my God.
And all my co-actors used to make fun of me and say, see, look at that man sitting there in the first row and crying.
Right.
But that was my fan.
Now, Manali, there's a person who helps us around Huduki. ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಡ್ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಣ್ಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಾಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ anyway, there's another question that's a kind of paradox for me, so I'll just ask you that, which is, you've been with people who are very vocal like Girish Karnad, M.S. Satyu, who discuss politics, who are very vocal about their views, but I don't see any kind of political activism kind of a thing that's coming from the two of you. Is it a very conscious decision to keep away, or do you discuss politics at home and not, that's a private kind of a conversation? Because you're friends with, you come from IPTA. There is a very strong, I'm sure there's a very strong political understanding of what's happening in the country, about the kind of nationalism that we speak today. All of that. So can you just speak about that a little and we close?
So when it comes to
politics,
the politics of it all, for me it's about making the change at that individual level. Right. So whether it then means taking up a play that makes a statement, because then it's done better for me, you know. For example, I did a play on sexual abuse, which was directed by and written by Mahesh Dattani. I translated it and I acted in it. Right. And that was called 30 Days in September. Or at present, there's a play on Palestinian realities. Right. You know, so I think that is the crux of it all. You know, that to make that change here, and not so. Yes, there have been influences like Girish has been a huge influence, at least in my life, because I was 15 when I first worked with him, and then I've worked with him as his dialogue writer on his series, television series. I've acted in his plays. I've translated his plays. So I've also assisted him as an assistant director. So,
but that part of his where he's a vocal political activist, you did not sort of.
So for me,
think it fits
yes, that
borrow it. Yeah.
I don't take it and translate it. It doesn't translate for me in the same terms. But yes, it inspires me. But then I do it my way.
All right. And Satyu similarly, Arundhati ji, has been very vocal.
Satyu has, yes. That is a definite left of center ideology. Right. He might not be a card holder, but it has been a very strong belief. And all those elderly seniors in IPTA had that belief. It was an ideology that the country had adopted, the left of center. The plays that Satyajit Ray that Ritvik Ghatak, it was a movement. IPTA was really a movement. Right. And everybody who was the intelligentsia in this country was involved in IPTA. Right. Whether they were making music or whether they were doing dance or writing or poetry. In such a scenario, a 16-year-old lands up in IPTA, and my family, my brothers were very huge Democrats, influenced by Biggles.
Right.
The Biggles comics, which were the American commandos, and we were all part of the huge silent wars that were going on, and of course there was Russia, and of course there was America, and the Democrats were good and the communists were the not good people. So when I joined IPTA, there was this huge dialogue at home कि अच्छा अब तो तुम उन कम्युनिस्ट लोगों के साथ काम करने वाली हो. Was the thing. Okay. But I don't know, I was too young. I had no idea about politics and theatre. I only learnt it through the theatre.
So whatever politics, it gets expressed through your art. And
through the work. I wish
say.
I had done more. Yeah, I did not. I went off into commercial theatre. So I was doing the personal politics kind of plays, but not the politics, real politic of change. And it's much, I left also at a fairly young age. I was out of the commercial theatre of Bombay and came to Bangalore. And I've been here for very long now. But like you said, there was a hiatus of 10 years when I was just getting my pieces together and my act together. I think I'm ready now. I'm ready now to be the instigator. I have collected enough of experience and I have the space. And this is a responsibility now.
And you just need a good script.
This is a responsibility now. You build a space like Rangashankara. It must speak the language of the people. It must speak to the people and tell them what is going on. Yeah? So maybe we will at Rangashankara begin to show documentary films, because I think that's a very
welcome.
We don't have a space in the city which shows documentaries. And I think theatre needs to connect with real issues, and documentary makers are really dealing with real issues. So there will probably be an osmosis that will happen, between the two mediums is what I feel.
Because only then can it become a mirror. No?
Correct.
Only then can theatre be the mirror of.
So we, for a long time, like you said, that at some point of time you said getting actually people to write in Kannada or people to speak. Yes. I'm saying people to speak the dialects and languages. People are taking so little pride in doing that it's falling through. Similarly, theatre. A lot of us, my generation and one generation before me, theatre actors went away to the movies and did not come back. We lost. And therefore we did not show youngsters what theatre was capable of doing. So for the youngsters who are coming to the theatre now today don't know how to express themselves in the language of theatre.
You know, and also the politics of life itself play out in strange ways. Like we're doing work in a village on the outskirts of Bangalore, and the one thing we're seeing is the lullaby is vanishing. The language, of course, is right, because there's this tremendous need to be have today is to have English in one's life, right? And somewhere in the process of all that happening, there's a lot that is intangible, that's very precious, that's being lost. And I think that is what needs to be nurtured, and that can happen through the arts and crafts, through the theatre arts, through natural farming. And that is something we're hoping we'll be able to also do in a rural area.
And I feel spaces like Rangashankara can become those nerve centers, nodal spaces, which bring people together for different reasons and become voices. Definitely give expression to voices. Otherwise, I can see that in the theatre, there's more personal politics. The plays that are played out are more about relationships. There are more solo plays than you have plays with people. Large commentaries on social issues, very few of them. Very few. And that tells you what the urban populace is thinking of today. The urban creature is only thinking of the next purchase at the mall or the next television, the next car. They are looking only at their television sets. They are not looking at issues.
So politics need not be about a very restricted idea of it, but then it plays out in a very larger way like this, looking at a lot of things.
Though I beg to differ, because there are youngsters I meet who are extremely passionate about various causes and they are doing their bit, but we aren't seeing enough of that translating into expression. When it comes to actually expressing and inspiring, there seems to be some sort of block there. There seems to be some sort of self-censorship also happening there, you know. And at a deeper level, like I'm saying, if we are losing out on that lullaby in the village, in the cities, then we are going to land up with actors who can't sing or dance to save their lives. And in that, the expression is that much more affected and hence that much lesser.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful conversation. Happy Women's Day to two incredible women.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Sugata. Thanks.